Hello once again, everybody. Tober Industrial once again, and I acquired some more electronics in a barter just recently, and I thought I would make a video of the things that I got. And actually I'm just going to do a video of some of the things that I got. And the first thing that we're looking at here is a Heathkit vacuum tube voltmeter. I'm really impressed with this unit. A really nice big meter on it, really easy to read. Of course you see the meter here, and right here we have the on-off switch, AC off, according to this, and then it's AC, DC negative, DC positive, and ohms. This switch here is 1.5 volts or RX1, 5 volt or RX10, 15 volt or RX100, and so on. It goes 50 volt, 150 volt, 500 volt, to a maximum of 1500 volts or RX1 meg. So that's your range and your function. It looks like there's two buttons missing, but it's not. These are just little adjustments here. Trim pots, potentiometers, zero adjustment here, and your ohms adjustment. I'm waiting on the probe that's supposed to come with this, the special probe. He didn't have it at the time, but he knows it's somewhere in his basement in a box, and he's going to get it for me. But anyway, this is where the probe plugs in. Let's have a look at the back. Pretty basic back. Here's the wiring, and of course you have your little lugs there for if you want to hook up to a bracket. So that's Heathkit. I just so happen to have a second one that I can show you the internals if you just want to hold one moment. This one here is just missing the tubes. It's model IM5228. I forgot to reference the other one. It's the model IM13. Both Heathkit, and they're identical as far as I can see. I looked inside. I'll take the back off here and put that to one side. Then we'll turn around the machine. There we go. Where are we to? Okay. Here you'll see where two tubes go. The tubes are in the other unit, not in this one. And this is for a C battery, a common C battery. You see the back of the meter here, and all the wiring inside. As far as I know, this one is functional. What I'll do eventually is hook up a wire. AC cord has been chopped here. I'll hook up a wire to this. I'll pop in the tubes out of the other one into here and put in a C battery and give it a whirl. And everything looks to be there because I compared both of them, and it looks like maybe somebody just took the tubes out. Okay, we'll move on to some more parts. Okay, next we have a Yaesu FTC 2640. Now this radio, as you'll soon see, doesn't have the top or the bottom, the casing, but it has the front. And it's complete. It powers up and it works. It receives and it transmits. I do not have the mic for it. There's a special 6-pin mic, so I wasn't able to do an actual audio check, but I did find out that it is TXing and the whole 9 yards. So anyway, there's a reset button here, and there's a call light LED, a busy LED, which is green, and a TX light or LED, which is red. There's 8 channels, this radio. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and that lights up whatever channel you're going to be on. This is your power and volume. This is your squelch. There's a on and monitor switch here that's snapped off flush, but it still works. The switch, I guess, would stick out to where you can turn it up on, put it on monitor, or put it to regular on, I suppose. And this is your power switch. I'll let you have a look at the mic plug, which is right there. 6-pin. This is the circuit board, the soldered side. A little heatsink here and heatsink there. Best I can tell, this radio I think puts out 30 watts. This is the other side. As you can see, the casings are missing. Don't know a whole lot about this radio, but I can tell you that there's a relay here, and like I said, everything seems to be working fine. And this is what's called, if I can get this into your picture, this area here, about there, this is called the matrix. This is something like what you would use if you were using crystals to change channels, except what you do here is you take diodes or resistors and you wire them in certain sequence to get certain frequencies. And there's a chart belonging to this radio, and it's a schematic and service manual that shows you how to move to whatever frequencies you need. This is the amp section, and it has a couple of pills here. There's a C2630, and here we have a C2539. The PLL, there's two PLLs in this, and it's the LM2908N, I believe. No, sorry, 2902N. Anyway, that's something that I picked up. Like I say, it works, and I think I'm going to be able to find the casings for it. He was doing repairs to it and forgot to put it back together. Sort of just walked away from it, I guess. We'll move on. Next we have a Yaesu FM transceiver FT2200. I'll give you a brief look at what it does here. This is your channel selector, your D/MR and skip button, call and DTMF button, megahertz and priority button. Please excuse me, I'm not familiar with these radios, but I'm just giving you the best demonstration that I can at the time, at this stage of the game. There's a FW button here, a DVS button, page, RPT, tone, and REV. You have a squelch button here, a volume button. This is your digital readout, and it says in the readout itself, it says bell, C set, R set, T set, and step. This radio has 3 power levels, 5, 25, and 50, I believe, and this is the button you can change to go to your different powers. Here's your power button itself, and this is a 6-pin mic jack, and this is the microphone itself, which gives you channel controls in the top. It lights up. There's a switch on the side you can turn off and on. There's a lock on the back, so you can lock it so it doesn't go crazy on you. And just a standard keypad, so you can do all your controls from here. It's got a quick release bracket onto it right now that I'm going to leave on for the moment. I'll just turn the radio around here. This radio, by the way, is in perfect working condition. I had a chance to test it, and it's working fine. The issue being this here jack right now, this PL259. This needs to be reworked because the positive is not making connection to the center. That's the one issue. This is the heatsink for the cooling of the amplifier, I'll say. The only other issue with this radio, and it has nothing to do with its functionality, is this button pops out. The shaft is let go for some reason from the thing, but you can put it in properly, and once it falls into place, it changes channels perfectly. So it just needs to be locked in somehow internally. That's the only issue with that radio. Like I say, it works fine. And that's the Yaesu FT2200. I'm going to show you now a radio that apparently went with this. It's a mobile radio that goes with this radio. Just one moment. Here we have a walkie-talkie of sorts. It's in a leather case. I'll remove it for you, and I'll probably have to move the camera back. Okay, let's see if we can move this back a bit. See if this makes more sense for you. Okay, here is I'll tilt the camera down so I can see what I'm doing here. This is the battery pack here. It's a special charging unit. Battery goes into it. The batteries didn't come with it, neither did the charger, but it operates on 13 volts, 12 volts or something like that. And I did hook it up and with the positive and negative hitting back here, and it works fine. It has 4 channels. There's a volume and on-off button here. Your 4 channels, F1, 2, 3, and 4. You have a squelch button. This is your rubber ducky, which rubber ducky here. And there's a S jack here. I don't know if that is for speaker, external speaker, or what. Anyway, this, I'm told, goes with the other radio. One of the Yaesus, I should say. I don't know if it's the 2200 or the 2640. Probably the 2640. Not sure. But anyway, this is what goes with it. And I powered this up and it works fine. There's also a mic goes with it, with a clip. So you're ready to be mobile. And it's Motorola. And there's your press to talk button here. And clip for clipping it onto your collar, clip the collar wherever you want to put it onto. And I'm not exactly sure of the model number. I don't believe there is a model number on it. But anyway, that's the walkie-talkie. Okay, I do have some 40-channel radios. Nothing sideband this time. I picked up a few 40-channel radios, a small walkie-talkie 40-channel radio, and several 22-channel radios of varying models and makes. And I tested most of them, and most of the radios, well, the ones that you've seen here, they're all working fine except for the issues that I pointed out. There's a few more radios that work fine, CB radios, I'll say, and there's some have some slight issues, either TX issues or RX issues or wiring issues. And there's actually 2 of them that are putting my power supply into protection mode, so there's certainly something short-circuited. I forgot to mention, and while I'm here I'll point it out to you, this meter here, there's 3 potentiometers on the side here. There's a DC calibration right here, just a small little inset screw inside that hole there. There's an AC calibration, and then there's the AC balance. I neglected to mention that. And there's a power light here, lets you know that your unit is on. Apparently this meter is a meter that you need sometimes when you have to test certain pieces of equipment. I'm going to dig in deeper as to what that is, but I'm told that these are the only kind of meters that you can use in order to be accurate enough to do repair or to do any service to certain equipment. I was talking to Radio Nut, Daryl, Radio Nut 63, and he mentioned that to me. And he said that's why, even though it's an old unit, is still a useful unit when it comes to being able to test certain things. Anyway, it's a learning process. I certainly do enjoy it, and I certainly do enjoy the electronics that I get. One last thing I want to show is it's a receiver. It's a DX150B that I picked up, and I'll put it up on the shelf now. Okay, this is a realistic DX150B. I'm not overly familiar with this unit neither, but I can tell you that it has 4 bands: band A, B, C, and D, and it covers from 0.535 megahertz, and goes into band B, which covers, I believe, it's police and government, marine, aircraft, and more government, and whatever acronyms are using there. BOM, I believe it is, or 80 meter, I should say. It's not BOM, 80 meter. Band C, WWV, CHU, 40 meter, WWV, and it continues on. And here it says 20 meter, 15 meter, and you have the CB band here. So there's 4 different bands: A, B, C, and D. And here you have fine tuning, BFO pitch, AF gain, your band selector, A, B, C, and D, your band selector here, antenna trim, analog on and off, another switch here. I'm not sure, the lettering was wore off. And this here is something you do at high and low for your receive. And this is standby switch here. And this is your main control for dialing in your frequencies. Your RF gain, of course, and antenna trim. I think I already mentioned this one. And you have your S units. This is a field effect circuit, what it's called, DX150B. And lights up pretty nicely. And this here is what you're looking at here now is the speaker that came with it. It's a remote speaker, same kind of a unit. Realistic SP150 communication speaker. Pretty basic run-of-the-mill stuff. Anyway, folks, I certainly hope you enjoyed the video. Maybe sometime in the future I will take the individual pieces of equipment and do a video on that, and probably go a little bit more in depth once I become more familiar with the equipment myself, because like I mentioned, a lot of this stuff is relatively new to me, and I'm not overly familiar with it. So don't go thinking that this here is the be-all and end-all for all of the knowledge you need to know about all these pieces of equipment. And I do apologize, but I certainly hope that you enjoyed the video, and that you enjoyed looking at the different pieces of equipment. And I encourage you to leave a comment if you'd like. Keep it clean and keep it sensible. I'm not looking forward to any craziness now. A joke or two is not too bad. But if you have any questions, comments, or you want to point something out about some of this equipment, please feel free to do so. Anyway, this is Tobin Industrial, and we'd like to thank you for watching, and we ask you to please subscribe.